Hey Tooth Fairy, welcome to today's podcast episode where I'm going to be talking about two things. Essentially, one, I am a complete expert at, which is building muscle. And two, which I am not an expert at, is ergonomics. However, by building the correct muscles, your ergonomics will go through the roof. It will improve and you won't even have to think about it. It will just naturally become second nature to you, which is so cool. And I see this all the time. So this is what I want to talk about today. So if you feel like your ergo's poor, and it very well could be, but it's probably not the reason you're thinking it is. So stay tuned to learn how to build muscle and improve your ergonomics simultaneously.
Hey there! Welcome to the Lift for Longevity podcast, where our goal is to build our strongest, healthiest body. We all deserve to feel our best, but since we only get one body, we have to make sure to protect it by moving safely and with purpose to prevent pain, injury, and surgery. I'm your host, Brianne, and I'm a fit pro turned business owner and also a girl mom. I'm obsessed with educating and empowering dental pros on how to take care of their body by training efficiently and building the right muscles to prolong their career. I know you're tired of spending time working out but still dealing with annoying aches and pains, getting rid of your pain temporarily only to have it come right back just a few hours later, or feeling like you never have any energy. You wish there was a long-term solution to get rid of your pain for good. Well, I'm here to give you real-life, actionable steps that you can take today to get rid of your pain, say goodbye to quick fixes, and have energy to live a life that you love. So if you're ready to get stronger, enjoy your life outside the operatory, and have longevity in your career, grab yourself a high-protein snack and let's get to it.
Okay, so I am not an ergonomics coach. Heck, I'm not even a hygienist. Spoiler alert if you didn't know that. But I am an expert at biomechanics and correcting muscle imbalances. And when I'm talking to hygienists all week long, I hear two things typically. I hear my ergo's crap, or my ergo's not where it should be, or I know my ergo's not perfect, right? Nobody's perfect, of course. Or I hear like I'm really trying to improve my ergo. Or the other thing I hear from people is like, my ergo is on point, but I still have all this discomfort, this pain, this tension, and this tightness, right? And of course, because your body is adapting, no matter how perfect you are all day long, gravity is still pushing you down. And as you know, there's always that one or two patients, whether it's, per day or per week, where you really have to compromise yourself. So the point is this, is I always like to say, of course, I'm an analogy person, strengthening and ergonomics is like brushing and flossing. Like you 1,000% need both. And here's an example. I couldn't tell you how many people I talked to, these hygienists tell me they spend all these thousands of dollars on ergonomic loupes, which, okay, great. I'm not saying to not do that, but they're like, I still have pain. Or someone told me that it went away for 2 weeks, but then it came back. Or the saddle stool, right? I mean, if you're using one on Amazon, I know my friend Stephanie Botts does not recommend that. But even if you have a custom saddle stool and you have a misaligned pelvis, whether it's laterally tilted or anteriorly tilted, it's not going to solve your problem of muscle weakness, right? You have imbalances, which is why you have pain, which causes two things, right? Those overactive muscles, and then those underactive, those weak muscles. So at the end of the day, your ergonomics is poor, quote unquote, because you have muscle weakness, right? Bottom line. So I'm going to kind of elaborate a little bit. I have 3 key points that I want to touch on today. So just like teeth too, I want to use another analogy, right? Your muscles have memory. So that's why when you stretch, say you open up that chest, cool, then your shoulders go right back, right? They revert back. Just like your teeth have memory, so do your muscles. So when we're working to correct our imbalances, we are retraining our neuromuscular system, right? This is why I talk about breathing a lot, because we have to make sure that we're in that not in that fight or flight, but in that rest and digest, so that we're able to accept these new movement patterns. So again, this is not what I want to go into too much, but at the end of the day, just like you're going to use a retainer or Invisalign or whatever you're doing to realign your teeth, that's what we're going to do with our body, right? Essentially, it's going to stem from two things, your rib cage and your pelvis. So I'm going to talk on first the rib cage, right? It's kind of like your foundation is broken. I did an Instagram post on that the other day and it really resonated. Your foundation is broken. You have forward head and rounded shoulders. Your rib cage is compressed. You might have trouble breathing. Well, actually, your rib cage is compressed either anteriorly or posteriorly or both, right? So that's a problem. And along with that postural distortion, aka that leads to muscle imbalances, you've got all the weak, the mid and the lower traps, the serratus anterior, the rear delts, the rhomboids. So that's more the upper body. We need to realign, we need to open up and create expansion in that rib cage. And then we need to stack it over our pelvis. So when your pelvis is misaligned, which I see it usually laterally tilted from leaning to one side, or it could be anteriorly tilted. Either case, it doesn't matter. You have muscle weaknesses. Again, you have tight, overused muscles, but then you have a lot of weak muscles. So the abductors, the adductors, the hamstrings. And fun fact, so that was the second one, the pelvis. The ribcage was the first one. So we need to kind of realign our foundation so that everything is, like I said, stacked in more of a optimal state. Which brings me to my third point is our core, right? This is why you feel like you have no core strength or your core weak, because you can't sit up straighter for longer. I have clients all the time, I could sit up straighter for longer. Well, of course, because we're realigning things. We're starting from kind of like that base, that foundation, and then we're building upon that. How are you going to build muscle when your foundation is broken? You can't. I use the analogy again. I am full of analogies today. Hopefully you're picking up what I'm putting down because I think they make sense. Just like you wouldn't build a house on a cracked foundation. I mean, you could, but it's not going to last forever. And the same thing, you can go work out with a misaligned pelvis and a rib cage, but you're not going to see long-lasting results. You're going to have pain. You're going to have muscle imbalances that are either causing pain or muscle tension, tightness. Okay, so when this happens, how are you going to have good ergonomics when you have forward head posture and your ears are way in front of your shoulders? Or when your shoulders are rounded, how are you going to stand tall with your shoulders pulled back? You're not. How are you going to stand with your hips squared up? You're not. How are you going to avoid having the chicken wing when you don't have the musculature posteriorly to keep your elbows down, essentially? So this is where I'm getting at, is like your muscle weakness is not only causing you pain, but it's causing you to have poor ergonomics, right? So by strengthening, by building muscle in those weak muscles in your imbalance, you building a more balanced body, so you're no longer hunched, right? You can stand up tall, shoulders pulled back, your pelvis is tucked, nice and neutral, glutes stabilizing it, core stabilizing, right? Everything is balanced, which is what we ultimately need to do with our body, right? And then once we accomplish that, it's kind of like, okay, once we realign our teeth, right? We get our braces off or our Invisalign, we're done with that. Then we can go and get cosmetic work or whatever. Okay, cool. Then we progress to like continuing to building more muscle and like really getting that nice toned physique that we're looking for. So then we can go, some people want to do a pull-up. Some people want to build a bigger butt. Some people want to run a marathon, right? Whatever your goal is, it doesn't matter. But we always have to take a step back, realign our body, fix our foundation so that everything is aligned, and then we can take 2 steps forward. So that's what I'm always sharing with people who are my clients or people who are looking to work with me, or even if they don't want to work with me, right? Like you can't run before you walk, right? And it's kind of the same thing. Like we have to fix our body from the inside out, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But the other thing that I wanted to just touch on briefly is I've had a couple people in the past couple days ask me about like standing. And I'm like, well, I don't understand what you're asking me, like strengthening for standing. And I'm like, well, it's all the same. Like, I don't get it. Like your muscles are weak, whether you're sitting or standing, right? We still have to build the same weak muscles. So I don't really have an answer for you other than like it all is the same. And fun fact, if you're not alternating between sitting and standing, I know, again, that's what my girl Stephanie Botts recommends, and I have a lot of clients doing that, and they swear by it. So go ahead and give it a try. But at the end of the day, it's all about building up those weak muscles so that you can have that strong, balanced body. And by default, as a result, your ergonomics will improve, and it will just become second nature. You won't even have to think about it. So that's the greatest part. It's like not only are you building muscle and you're getting rid of pain and you're getting stronger and having a balanced body, like it's like a win-win all across the board. And speaking of balanced body, I do have a free balanced hygienist toolkit. It's not a cure-all, but you can get your free copy. I'm going to go ahead and link it in the show notes for you, and then incorporate these few steps for 4 weeks and let me know how it goes. Shoot me a message on Instagram and let me know how amazing you're feeling, because honestly, it's like not even the tip of the iceberg. It's like step 1 of 100. Not to overwhelm you, there's not really 100 steps, but it's just a very, very, very one piece of the 1,000-piece puzzle, if you will. So grab your free copy. Let me know what other questions you might have for me. And until next week, have a great weekend.
Thank you so much for listening in today. I hope you got a takeaway from this episode. And if you did, would you be so kind to share it with another dental pro you think would benefit from it? I know you love learning, and chances are that they do too. Also, I would love to connect with you on Instagram, so go ahead and head over to the Lift for Longevity podcast page or follow me at Built by Brianne. If you shoot me a message saying hello, I will personally respond because I love chatting with dental pros. Before you go though, I want to let you know that I appreciate you and what you do, and I hope to chat soon. Until next time, stay strong.